I just remembered I muted myself. Alright, how's that? Here, I can close that. I was just saying that I'm creating a new Love2D repository, and it's going to be in Gitlab. I'll post it in the comments of this video now. But yeah, it's I'm basically creating a Love2D RPG that I'll be using as reference for a future RPG series that I'm going to create for Love2D. So right now I'm just getting the Git repository set up. Also, I'm on a widescreen monitor, so I'm gonna have to try to keep my windows in view. Let me know if I'm showing you something, or I'm trying to show you something and it's off view. But anyway, let's commit that and let's push. So I think my let's check. I want my strategy, my branch strategy, to be where I have a master branch and then a develop branch. All my development will go into the develop branch and subsequent branches that branch off that. And then releases, things that I want you guys to be able to fork and see, those are going to be in the master branch. So let's check out and create a new develop branch. And let's, I don't know if I can right away push up that branch. I should be able to. Okay, good. Alright, so let's get started. Let's go back into that repo. Alright, let me create a main.lua file. Config.lua. Let me remember, again, like I said this earlier, but I'm quite rusty with Love2D, so I'm going to be referencing the manual quite often. So it's just love.conf. Okay, that's what I thought. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was an old library called, what was it called? Corona SDK, that's right. And it had a config file that was called config.lua, so it was a little confusing. Alright, so let's create the config file. I'm going to create the window to be 720p. Let's enable the terminal. Super useful for debugging. And I'm going to change the window title to dev window. And the reason why I do that is because my my Linux box, what it does is when it sees a window that has the title dev window, it will automatically float the window for me and not tile it. So it's a little bit useful. Alright, so let's open up the main file and create our base functions. And how about we draw a rectangle? Alright, let's hide this window. Alright, I'm going to open a terminal in my Vim, and actually I'm going to do this just to make sure that everything's in view. Let's see. Alright, and I'm going to move this over here. I'm just going to run the project. Alright, and there we are. Just a simple square. Start to just about every project on Earth. Alright, so let's commit what we have. Basic window. That's fine. I'm really terrible at my commit messages. I've finally forcing myself to be better, but yeah. Blitz Basics back in 2008. I'm not sure about what that is. Was that a version of Basic? Because Lua very much looks a lot like Basic, for sure. Alright, so I'm going to create a new script. I'm just going to name it game.lua, or let's do engine.lua. No, actually, game.lua. And this is just the location where I bundle all the different modules and everything together. So I'm going to make a local table named game. I'm just going to return it. Now, I don't really have a lot of ideas on how I want to architect this game. Like I said before, it's been a while. But So I'm just going to be kind of flying by the seat of my pants. You know, we'll probably have to refactor quite a lot, but that's fine. You know, that's how I roll. Alright, we're just going to create a global named game, and we're going to require game. So that should pull in the game table up here. Alright, so let me think about what I want to do. Let's create a new file called painter. A new file called entities. Oh, thanks, Josh. Appreciate that. Yeah, I want to do some more live streams. I have done a few in the past, but they, you know, of course, I took that long break. So I'm glad you enjoy the Raylib videos. I am planning on making more, I promise. I've also been experimenting with Raylib and the Nim programming language and using them together. And it's just it's a fantastic way to make games and stuff. All right. So now I'm trying to think of how I want to do my entity system. I might keep it really simple. Typically in games, I like using an entity component system because it means I can keep my behaviors and my components and all that separate and all that, which is really clean. But Lua is just so dynamic, and its table, the way it does its tables is just so dynamic that I feel like we could do something a little different. But for now, let's just make a function to create an entity. Alright, and then why don't we create a manager table that will actually house all these entities. I think I want to create kind of a pseudo entity component system. So let's create a filter, a list of filters. Filters are what you would call a system. And how about we create a function to create a new filter? And I do not want these to be global. I'll have a public interface for this file right here. So let's do create filter, and then I'm going to have a list of matches. So this list will be a list of components that I want to match against, that I want to filter against. And how about we create a match list in here, and let's name this match list. Or we'll just say, if we don't pass in a match list, then we'll just default that to an empty table. Alright? Let's see. So we got a match list. What we want is, let's have a load function that takes itself and then an entity. How about we have a update, takes itself and an entity, and then delta time. A render function that also takes itself, entity, we'll call that good, and then a dispose function, or how about destroy, entity, and that will be it. Okay, and these functions you will be expected to override when you create a filter. Alright. So let's do function manager update. Put song Bad Bunny. I don't know because I want this stream to be monetizable. Let me see. I think I might not be playing music right now. Let me see. I'm not. I got this list of just random music that you can play with that has no copyright or anything like that. A lot of it's pretty chill stuff. I don't mind it, but I kind of want to see if people actually want to actually listen to music. How about I play it just so it's less awkward? Can you guys hear that all right? Let me see. Turn that up a bit. Go to manager, render. That's basically all we need for right now. Alright, so let's create our public interface. So we're going to say manager, it's going to be equal to manager. create filter. Let's go to create filter, create entity, create entity. Alright, and in the game file, we will require that. Let's see. I wish you could destructure in Lua. I've been kind of spoiled with JavaScript and stuff. Yeah, Lua is very nice syntactically. There's a few quirks that I'm not a huge fan about. For instance, arrays start at 1. I think that's a fine idea. The only problem is it gets really confusing when you go between C++ and Lua, or even a shader even. So you kind of have to keep two mental models going at the same time. But aside from that, Lua is a very simple, elegant language, very expressive. Its table system is fantastic. Like, you can't, it's just so useful to be able to have just a ton of, just to be able to, I don't know, create structures using them. And I kind of changed my mind. I do want these functions to be public, so why not? Alright, let's see. What do we got? Alright, let's create a new function. Actually, you know what? You know what? Instead of all that, why don't we make these functions methods of the manager? I think that would be a little bit more hygienic. And that way we can just return manager. Oh, Camel. Sweet. Yeah, I love the ML family of languages. That was probably my first functional programming language that I was able to understand. I'm still an infant when it comes to it, but you know, I love working in OCaml. Okay, let's do this. You know, I have a video on, I don't know if you do know this, but I have a video on how to do functional or object-oriented programming in Lua. I want to make a video on how to do functional programming in Lua. Though that one's a little bit trickier because Lua is a very dynamic language. Trying to remember how to do stuff in Lua. Filters. Filter. Alright, and why don't we do a similar thing over here with the entity. Alright, so over here, why don't we create a local ID? Because I think it would be useful to have the entity have a unique ID. We could always just use its table address as the unique ID, but I don't know. Let's do something like that. Okay, so an entity is going to have a list of components they can add to it. So I'm just going to make that an argument list. Now I need to, like I said, I'm very rusty when it comes to Lua and Love2D, so I'm gonna look up how to do Lua var args. I think I know how to do it, but I'm a little bit, I don't want to say that I do. Var arg, the second class citizen. Alright. I think I can just spread the parameters over a... Yeah, let's try that. Oh, I think there's an implicit args local or something. Alright, let's see. Periodic arguments. Let's try this. Select. Interesting. I could have sworn there was a... Maybe I'm looking up the wrong term. variable number of arguments. Let's try that. Okay, so there is an args. So let's just do for I comp. You probably don't need the index, so let's just ignore that. In I pairs args. Good. All right, and then we're gonna do. Let's have a. Oh, you know what? Maybe we can do a key value pair. No, let's just create a list. A table for now. Just using integer indexes. Alright, why don't we play around with this a little bit? Let's require the entity system. Is that why I named it? Entities. Yeah, that's right. And let's create a player. My browser does, I believe, display a monospace font. It's Fira code. I basically have Fira code as my universal font. It can be a little, it's harder to read, but when you spend so much time in code, it's kind of nice having every single font be the exact same. Let's get a reference to the manager. And then in here we can create some components. So let's just do a body component. X is equal to 100, Y is equal to 200. And then how about a timed, no, let's do a sprite component. So let's do region 0, 0, 32, 32. Actually, let's do something different. Let's do type sprite, or let's do rect. And then let's do the color. Like so. Alright, let's see if this runs. Okay, syntax error. That's to be expected. Number 20. Oops. Missing a comma. Oh. I don't need to make the project. Alright. Attempt to call method create. Manager entity. Let's name this create. That argument 1, I pairs table expected, got null. Arg. I believe that's called arg, actually. There it is. Alright. So we are running. Alright, why don't we create a filter that will match a component. And actually, why don't we create a function to create a component? Something like this. How do I want to do this? Actually, you know what? We can just do this. Oh, shoot. For some reason, my text editor has been inserting some weird characters. But, yeah, so we create a component. It takes its name, its data, and maybe what we can do instead is just pass in the data. And we will assert that data.name is not equal to nil. I could just assert data.name. Let's also assert that it's a string. Like so. And then we'll just return the data. So now we can create a let's pick a function called create body x, y, width, height, return, create comp. And I'm trying to really keep things simple, guys. I'm not going to be doing some crazy metaprogramming and all that. I want it to be very simple. Yeah, one of the things I've been struggling with creating a bigger series is there's a lot of rewriting. Like, if I do a platformer tutorial series, which I'm planning on doing, eventually redoing my platformer series, if I do that, then I'm also going to be rewriting all this code. So I might create, like, a kernel package that contains just a base layer of, all this common entity stuff, and then I would explain that, maybe do another tutorial series on that kernel, making that kernel. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, please let me know. And you know what? I actually want this name to be postfixed with an underscore. That way we can have a field called name, potentially. And we'll name this body. Alright. So now what we can do is we can create body. The x is going to be, let's just do it at 10, 10, 100 by 100. Alright, let's do the same thing for a sprite, or a drawable, actually. Have a parameter for the type, color. Yeah, we'll just do that for now. I think it might make more sense to name this verify comp, but I'm gonna settle with what I have right now. How about we make it so that the default color will default to white? Okay, so we can create a drawable. The type is going to be... Oh, let's not forget the name. Type is going to be a rectangle. And then we're going to create a color... Alright, so why don't we extract this out to their own, let's make a folder actually. Let's name this components or comps. And then let's create a new file in comps called body. And let's take this, paste it here, and how about we return this? Can I do that? Will this give me a named? Honestly, let's just keep it just make it a global. We can refactor it later. Alright, let's do the same thing for the drawable. I changed my mind. Alright, and then why don't we require those? Let's make sure this still runs. How about? Oh, it doesn't. Assertion fail. Well, that's not helpful. Alright, where did it fail? Main line 8. Oh, of course. This is why you write assertion, guys. Assertions and stuff. Verify your code, especially in a dynamic language like Lua, in a very dynamic framework like Love2D. Alright, so we have components. We can actually move this to its own module, so we'll move that into comp. And we will actually make that global, because I'm lazy. And why don't we require it up here? Or let's require it in the main. At the very top so that it's global for everything. Alright, let's make sure that works. Whoops. main 13. Oh, I can't have a trailing comma there. There. All right, cool. Cool. Okay, so let's actually get the filters working. Or let's actually create a filter. So let's make a new folder. Filters. And we're going to create a new filter. We're going to name this, I don't know, how about entity render. Alright. Entity render is going to be it's going to require the manager. I kind of want to make this capital since this is a module or this is kind of like I don't know, a module that we're pulling in. Let's just require it from entities. I don't know if I have repeat on or what. All right, manager, create filter or filter, and let's name this entity render. And the filter is going to take in, it's going to look for a body and then a drawable. Alright, and then let's override the render function. So it's going to take in the entity. Alright, so I'm just going to verify that we're here by printing. One thing I actually do want to do is create a meta table for the index operator for this guy. Now let me reference how to do this again. Let's just check the meta method. Can I just do that? Without having to set a meta table? Why don't we give it a shot? Because that'd be very convenient. So my goal is for you to be able to just index using the name of the component and then to return that component. So the easiest way to do that would be to, actually, you know what? Since these components have they have to have a name to them, so we could just use the key or the name of the components as a key to the table, saving us a lot of time and saving us a lot of computation. So let's do comp.name underscore is equal to comp. Alright, so now we can just return self.components key. Alright, let's verify that this works. Uh-oh. Table index is nil. Can I not do that? What do we get? No. What's up? What's up? You know what I need? I need a print table function. So let me find that. And I'll create a new script called, let's name it utils. Every project's got to have a utils script. There was a really good one that I always copy. It was alright. I usually edit it, but I think it's got to be in here, right? Maybe this has a good example. Yeah, good enough for me. Doesn't handle meta tables or anything like that, but that's all. It's all right. Let's name that dump, and let's require utils. No, I don't want my U to have an umlaut. All right, and let's dump the. Hold up. Let's dump up here. Dump what we're passing in, the component. What gives? Oh, this doesn't actually print, it just creates a string represent. Okay. So that could be useful for serializing. Function underscore new index. What the heck? Oh. Wait, no, never mind. I really need to figure out how to properly debug in Lua. I really miss being able to just step through functions and seeing everything. So I'm not printing anything. Let's try printComp.x. Let's see if it will pick up the x. It's a nil. Is comp nil? Because that would be pretty easy to debug. I'm thoroughly confused. Alright, let's try to go to, maybe it's because I'm not requiring, it's probably because, let's make sure this is a function that we can access. Sure is. Alright. And why don't we go check out that function. Just takes the data, returns the data. So we're getting a table. Let's make sure that the table has a, well, it has to have a name because the assertion's passed. Alright, well, how about we do this? How about we do this? I'm going to comment this out. Remove the argument. The entity is going to have a function that you call called add. And you will pass in the comp. With, yeah, should do it like that. Okay, attempt to index local player. That's happening in the main file. So maybe it's because we're not creating, are we returning the entity? We aren't. Let's actually return the entity. I make that mistake so often. Attempt to index field body a nil value. Okay, of course that's going to be nil because we haven't attached any components yet. So why don't we just do this, get rid of that, comma, player add, like so, and let's run. Table. Print the name. Body, drawable. Okay. Let's make sure that we should be able to. What's the key? Perhaps that's the problem. Why aren't we printing it? Think straight. Okay, so this numbering scheme is actually really useful for Lua. So right here is the main what line number I'm actually on. So if I need to see that, I can see it on the left there. But or did I say Lua? It's very useful for Vim. So let's say I want to jump down to the print where it says print key. I can just type in LLJ and I'm instantly there. Because the numbering is relative, I can just look at the number next to the line that I want to jump to. So let's go back up to the local entity, and boom, I'm just there. So it is a little confusing, but after a while, it gets pretty easy to, just like Vim. You know, Vim's super weird when you get started with it, but after a while, it becomes second nature to you. Okay, so I guess what's happening is we're trying to index, and we're not overriding the index operator. But so let's actually learn how to do that correctly. Let me just look up operator overloading. I could just pull up one of my YouTube videos, just saying, but you know, I'm lazy. Okay, so yeah, we could just set a meta table and do it that way. So why don't I do that real quick? Let's go to entities. More difficult for people to keep up. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, and I'm a pretty, like, I jump all around in my editor also, so it could be a little difficult. I'll see if I can change the numbers scheme in the next stream or whatever. So we're going to set the meta table on entity, and that meta table is going to override the index operator. Okay, that works. Yeah, and now I don't know how this is going to work if I want to get the ID of the entity, so I might actually remove this, but for now it's a convenient way to actually access the table. Why don't we also create a function get? Oh, no, I think you're onto something, definitely. I mean, it's a weird operating system using a weird editor and I'm just flying all over the place. So it could be. I could totally see where it could be a little difficult to keep up and all that. And the line numbering definitely isn't helping. All right, let's do that. And why don't we actually remove this meta table for now? Okay, so actually access the component get body dot x. That should be good. Cool. Alright, so why don't we get things going a little better? Let me change this to Capital Manager. I'm going to do Manager, Render. I don't know why I named it Render. I probably should have named it Draw, but whatever. Not too worried about it. And then why don't we create a filter? Or I think I did already, didn't I? Oops. Yeah, okay. So, I guess now the last thing to do is actually tie everything together in the entities file. Then what we're going to do is we're going to iterate over the filters. And we're going to say if filter matches the entity, then ... And what I want to do is in over here is actually create that match function. Matches function. That's going to take in an entity. And essentially what we're going to do, or let's create a new function down here for checking if an entity has a component. We could just check if the entity, if the component, if we try to get it, if it's null or nil. But I like it to be a little bit more robust than that, I guess. We want that to be not nil. So if we say body, if it has body, then yeah, that's what we want. All right, let's go back to filter, match function. We'll do for I match in self match dot match list do. I probably shouldn't be using iPairs loops all over, but I can't imagine us having any performance trouble, so that's just, why not? All right, so if ent, if not, ent has the match. So if the entity does not have the required component, then we're just going to return false. Otherwise, return true. Like so. All right. So back over here, if the entity matches, then we want to do filter. We want to basically dispatch on the update and all that function. So we're going to do update ent dt. Another thing I want to do is over in the entity, I want to have a loaded flag. And it's going to be initialized to false. And up here, if at the very end of this update we're going to say loaded to go to true. So now we know when the first basically update cycle happens, and we can do an update if the entity hasn't been loaded. Not loaded. Then we want to do filter dot load, like so. All right, so let's just take this code block and copy it over for the renderer. And we can remove the loading stuff, we don't need that. And this too. Oops, we want to keep that the same, just like that. Yeah, that's exactly it. Crap, I died. That's it helps me with my editing and all that. I don't actually use it as efficiently as I really could. It's something I need to practice on, but you know, yeah, it's there when I need it. All right, so in theory, things should be rolling. So let's see. Oh, let's go over to filter, And let's start this. Alright, so it's not printing hello. Let me make sure that things are being called. We're calling update and render. Let's go back to the entity, the entities file. Let's make sure that this is being called. That is being called. Make sure that we're over here. We're not. Okay, so I guess we're not iterating over filters. Okay, so we're iterating over the entities though. So I guess maybe we're not inserting the filter. We are. Manager, filter, the filter. Insert into the table of filters, the filter. Hold up, one thing I want to do real quick. I accidentally initialized GoYo, so I screwed up my Vim stuff. Okay, so let me just print filters. Make sure that we are at least a table or something. Okay, let's try dumping it. Hopefully this works. It's an empty table. What's up with that? Are we even here? We are not. So, let me go back to where am I going? Over here. It might be because we're creating a local reference to the manager and then maybe creating a new manager each time. So I might just use a global singleton, and we'll make it an actual singleton instance later, but for now we'll be lazy. And let's see how that works. Let me try printing this table. And then also printing the one over an entity renderer. What's up? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. We're not even, oh, you know what? Durr. It helps if we actually require the module. All right, there we go. So we're printing hello, meaning that we're actually calling this function right here. And as a test, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove one of the required components and make sure that we're not in that function, which we're not. As you can see, it's not printing hello. Cool. So the next thing to do, why don't we just get this rendering? Why not? So I'm going to remove that. And let's grab the drawable component. Get drawable. And then we want to go if. We'll just switch on the drawable type. And we'll check if it's a rectangle. And how about if you don't supply? Nah, you should always supply a type. And we'll only. How about we do this? We'll assert false if you provide any other type, and we'll say entity renderer does not support the drawable type %s. Because we are working in Lua, you can absolutely forget to, or you can misspell, rect or whatever, and we want to be able to catch that. Any particular reason you use NeoVim or over Vim? Not really, honestly. Maybe back in the day I would have been like, oh, NeoVim's better, cleaner, and all that, but I think I like the terminal, the way it does the terminal a little better. It seems more active, I guess. I do like that it's a community project instead of... I mean, Vim's a community project, obviously, but it has its malevolent dictator, and, you know, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but I think it does sometimes stunt progress. So I'm very happy that I think if NeoVim didn't come out, Vim proper would have kind of stayed a little bit more conservative in its feature set and all that, which would have caused, I think, Vim to become less popular than it is, but that's just my hot take. Oh my goodness. Alright, there we go. Set color. And we're just going to unpack the drawable color. Like so. Now in the future we're actually going to be having a painter class that will sort all our sprites and do some fancy, you know, stuff like allow for shaders and a bunch of other crazy stuff. So, but for right now we're just going to directly draw. Rect. Draw. I just had the function here. Rectangle, that's right. Let me just paste this. Body x, y, body dot width, body dot height. Alright, we aren't getting anything, so let's make sure that we have set this correctly. Okay, so we're not here. Let me try dumping the table. Make sure that it's what we expect. Oh, are we not even getting called anymore? What's up? Oh, Dara. Let me uncomment this, how about? Alright, there we go. Alright, so we have a red square where we expect the player to be. Cool. I think that's pretty awesome. I think it's about time that we committed some of our work. A little overtime, honestly. Alright, so let's check things out. So how about we commit this. Let's get the git status again. Git add. Oh, we didn't even add the game, so let's add the game. Alright, let's add entities, filters, comps, and painter for the hell of it. Actually, let's not add painter. We will add that in a separate commit. First steps to a basic ECS. Sure. And let's push this up. Now, if you guys don't know, I am developing this publicly, so if you guys want to go and check out my repository, I'll paste it in the comments real quick, but it's over here in Gitlab. I chose Gitlab because I work with Gitlab at work a lot, and I like a lot of the features that it provides. Most of the work is happening on the develop branch. Actually, one thing I want to do real quick is limit my security a little bit. Let me see if I can do that. It should be in housekeeping. No, maybe not. Let's see. Repository, that's it. And protected branches. I'm going to make it so that I cannot, no matter what, push to master. I can only merge into master. So like I said this in the beginning of the stream, but what the master branch is going to be is basically code that is basically like releases. So you can pull down that, run it, and it's going to work. Features are to be expected, and the develop branch is where all my work is actually going to happen, plus subsequent branches that branch off of develop. So yeah, feel free to fork this project and submit your own pull requests and stuff. It would be really cool to have this kind of grow into a really nice, awesome demo, and maybe even turn it into a full featured game. But yeah, if you guys want to actually get the code, go over here, click develop, and then you can download, or just clone the repository, switch over to the develop branch. All right, cool. So let us continue. What should I do now? We could flesh out Painter. Oh, actually, one thing I want to do real quick is extend this body component a bit. So I want to have a method for getting the center of the body. Let's just return let's return multiple arguments. How about? And we will turn x plus width over 2, or why don't we do times a half? Just like that. And then why don't we make a contains function? Let's assert that the type of other is a table, and that other has a name field that is body. One thing I would like to do is create a enumeration of all the components. That way I can reference all of the components and do whatever I want with them. But for now, this is fine how it is. All right, so once we assert those, we're going to return, let's do self.x plus self.width is greater than other.x, and self.y plus self.height is greater than other.y. Also, self.x is less than other.x plus other.width. Self.y is less than other.y plus other.height. Like that. All right, let me just verify that this is correct. Okay, that looks good to me. All right, cool. So let's commit that real quick. Git add comps body git commit beef up the body component. Sure, why not? One thing I do not do on this channel is promote good Git hygiene or even talk about Git. So I really want to make sure that during my streams I am, doing the best I can do to properly use the Git and other tools. All right, so actually, you know what I want to do? I want to create I just want to get the player moving around. Why not? I think that'd be fun for the stream. So let's create a new physics body. Let's name it rigid body. Or let's just name it physics. And let me just copy what's in body. Yank, paste. Let's go delete this, change this to physics. Physics. Get rid of all this. Actually, let's get rid of all this. All right, and we're going to change this to a v. So val x, val y. And I might make these, might make our own vector class later just so we can do some vector math and stuff. But for now, I'm just going to keep it simple. And we don't need the width and height. All right, so we're going to do velocity. We're going to have a friction component. Or not component, but you know what I mean. Let's try 0.2. What else do we need? I think that's basically it. We could have an acceleration, but I'm not too worried about that. Why don't we have a speed? Speed x is equal to 3200. I don't know, I'm just eyeballing these values. All right, cool. All right, and then next thing, let's create a physics filter. Just name it physics system. Let's actually copy this because I'm lazy. Copy paste abstraction. Alright, we're gonna want the body component, physics component, physics system. One thing I'm not a fan about Lua is because I think it's a fine thing that it uses function and then end, or if then end. The only problem is it kind of makes it difficult to work with in Lua because I can't say delete everything between these brackets, which I do all the time in other languages that use braces and stuff, but that's alright. It's not that big of a deal. We're actually not going to need the render function just yet. We might do some debug rendering there, but we're not going to worry about that. So let's pull the physics component out of the entity. Let's grab the body component. Cool. And why don't we go down here and actually make sure this component is being used. So let's just require physics component, or the physics filter. When I'm programming, when I'm talking and stuff, I don't really think about what I'm actually saying. It's kind of tricky. All right, let's grab this. Oops. Physics. This is fun. I miss writing Lua and Love2D. I've been doing a lot of C++, a lot of JavaScript, and some would say they're more like, it's more of a, I don't know what to say, but I like working in a really fun, easy, lightweight system that there's not a lot of boilerplate or things to worry about. Plenty of ways to shoot myself in the foot, but that's part of the fun, I think. Alright, so I'm going to give it an initial velocity just so we can actually see it apply that velocity. And let's go over to physics, or actually over to the physics system. And we're going to say physics, or why don't we do body dot, or let me think. Alright, we're going to separate out the x and y velocity for the body. And you'll see why we do this when we get to collisions. So for now I'm going to do a create body, and let's actually make sure we include this. So if this looks weird right now, it's because it is weird, but you'll see that it actually helps us a lot in the end when it comes to collisions. So we're going to do body.x plus physics.vx times delta time. And then we're just going to have body.y. So we're applying the x velocity to this body right here. And then we're going to do that over with the y. Oops, let's just do this. Paste the y like so. Alright, cool. And then what I'm going to do down here is just say body.x is equal to xbody.x, body.y to xbody.y. And then I want to say, actually, why don't we run it, because we should see, actually, no, we won't. No, we will. We should see the player start moving in one direction. Alright, so we got an error over in the body component. Oh, you know what? I didn't run it, so I pushed that bug up into develop. Come on, Dustin. 14. Come on. Alright, so you see the players moving. That's cool. That's what we expect. Now what we want to do is decelerate the velocity. And we want to do that according to delta time. We want delta times to be able to handle that. So we're going to say physics vx is equal to physics.vx times math.pow. And we're going to do physics.friction and delta time. So that's slowly going to decelerate the our velocity according to delta time and the friction variable. And let's see how this looks. So you can see the player slows down to a crawl. Cool. And for now, that's all we're going to do in the physics. Why don't we create a player filter? I'm going to name it player controller. And we're just going to take everything from the physics system, kind of like I did with before. And then we're going to create a component, a player component. Create player. And we're just going to return create component of empty table. Alright, cool. This is getting a little, the more components that we have, this is going to get a little weird, so I don't know what to, maybe I'll create a single module that imports all the create functions. Yeah, I think that'll be a good idea at some point. And let's add the player component. And we can remove those arguments. Let's make sure that this is running. Assertion failed, shoot. Oh, duh, it's gonna fail. Because, and again guys, this is why you add assertions to your code. You test your code, especially in Lua, because you can forget things super easy, especially if you're me. Alright, cool. So let's go over to the player controller. Let's just nuke all this. Whoops. Let's nuke all of this, how about? Alright, and we're going to say if love.keyboard.isDown. And let's do A. And let's check D. Eventually I will just copy over my code from the input video I just made, but I'm gonna be lazy, or I'm just gonna do this for now. We're gonna say physics.vx is equal to physics.vx minus physics.speed times delta time. We're gonna paste that instead of a minus. We're gonna have a plus. Instead of x, we're gonna substitute that with a y. Same down here. Whoops, what happened? I was trying to be fancy, but it didn't work out. Cool. Alright, so let's see if we can control the character now. We cannot. We cannot. This is named physics system. This name is player controller. And I know why, because we have to include the player controller. I wonder if I can make a mechanism that checks whether or not the module has been required outside somehow. I don't know how that would work. Attempt to index global player controller nil value. What? Because we need to replace this. Alright. No! Speed. What's wrong with speed? Oh, you know what? It's x speed, or speed x. Speed y. Right, let's make sure. It is, alright. It needs to be x, y, like so. And now we can go left and right. We can't go up and down, though. Did we apply up and down to the physics system? Oh, we did not. There we go. Alright. Sweet. So it's super floaty. And I still haven't decided if I want this RPG game to... Maybe in the actual tutorial series, I'll have a option to switch to a tile-based movement. But I think this is pretty cool, being able to do it very smooth like this. Maybe not, I don't know. If you guys think that I should, then I'll do that. Okay, so let's tweak some of the values over here. Let's make the fiction a little stronger. Whoa, I just killed my editor. Lovely. I do that all the time, and it's really bad, but it's because I have a key binding. My meta Q kills a window, and it's stupid, right? But it's convenient, I guess, to have the kill key be that easy to press, but sometimes it bites you in the butt. And let's just make this 1200. So you're a little slower, and you can, yeah, cool. Very nice. Maybe we can create some collision detection. It looks a little jittery, but that might just be the stream. I wonder how smooth this stream actually is for you guys, because I'm recording on really trashy Wi-Fi, and actually I'm looking at it. It looks pretty good. Cool. Cool, cool. All right, let's see. What else do we want to do? Why don't we commit what we have? First off, let's add the body component, because I messed up. Sure. Very descriptive. Alright. If you guys aren't using Git for your projects, by the way, please use something. Use some version of version control. It'll save you so much time and stress and hassle. And then we'll add comps. Oops, what am I doing? Add comps. Physics. And we'll add filters, physics. Anything else for this patch? I think that'd be fine for now. And we'll name this, we'll just for the message say physics system. Sure. And then we'll add the player. And we will commit this and just do player system, or player controller. Oops. Cool. Alright guys, I'm actually going to call it for right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm just getting tired, and you know, I just wanted to dip my toes into this project. But yeah, keep up with it. I'll be streaming as often as I can. Maybe even, I'll see what I can do. But yeah, thanks for all you guys' support too. Like it's been incredible with when I went back onto YouTube. The support's been awesome. Check out the Discord. We just created a new Discord for the community. And I think it'd be really great for you guys to go there. If like, I get a lot of comments in the YouTube. How do I do this? How do I fix this? I'm having this issue, and the YouTube comment section is terrible for answering those questions, right? So instead of ignoring you guys, I would really like to have a good, constructive place where we can all help each other, while also showing off what we're working on, and you know, maybe building a little community. I think that'd be awesome. So let me see if I can post the Discord link. Or actually, you know what? I will. One thing I want to do is actually post this Gitlab link, so you guys can check this out. And this will be on the develop branch when you guys check it out. Oh shoot, I don't have the stream open. Alright, just a second guys, don't get sick. Let's do that. Alright, so feel free to fork it, make whatever change you guys want, and cool. And then, yeah, so if you guys want to, in my latest video, if you look out and down into the comments, in the top comment, the pinned one, you can actually see the Discord link, so feel free to join. I think it'd be really cool. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next stream. Take care.